New Black Wall Street Book Club. Evan Jefferson, brother, much love. Educating, elevating, because in knowledge is the power and we'll never give it up. Literature's for the masses. Where to put your money down, now how to watch your assets. Yeah, uplifting others is a passion. My brother Evan, he will turn it into action. New Black Wall Street Book Club. You should come read with us. Yeah, we comprehend and discuss. Yeah. We all just come together. There's no limit for us. Here comes your host, New Black Wall Street. Evan, take it away. New Black Wall Street Book Club. New Black Wall Street Book Club.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, my beautiful people. How are you? Miss Green, what's going on? How are you? I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. Thanks so much for tuning in here today on the New Black Wall Street Book Club, where we're going through lessons from the richest black man in the world. That's right, lessons from the richest black man in the world. Of course, we did miss yesterday. We skipped yesterday, but we are going through the book, Dangote's 10 Commandments on Money. That's right, Dangote's 10 Commandments on Money. So the richest black man in the world actually happens to be Aliko Dangote. He's from Nigeria. And, of course, I've written a book about the black billionaires, and he actually happens to be the black billionaire. Well, we got a book that's actually coming out. That's going to be actually sponsored by our sponsor today, ERGJ Black Bookstore. You see that logo up in the top? Yeah, ERGJ Black Bookstore. You can actually find the page at the Facebook page, ERGJ Black Bookstore, while we're working on building that website out. But the Black Billionaires Club, just to give you a quick update, it's a book that talks about out of the 2,000 billionaires in the world today, only 12 of them are black. And so we actually wrote a book about those 12 because I believe that if you want to be wealthy, you should study wealthy people. If you happen to be black and you want to be wealthy, why not study wealthy black folk? And so that's a great way for us to capture our history, for us to know what's going on present day, that there are at least 12. And hopefully you can be the next to enter into the Black Billionaires Club. And so where we are with that, we actually sent the book off. We did our final proof, and we are into print today. And so I'm super excited. We should get those books ready to rock and roll by the weekend. And I begin to sign all those copies. So here's the deal. If you have not ordered the book yet, you still have until Sunday for your pre-order. Well, what happens with the pre-order? With the pre-order, you actually get the book for $5 off. So the book is going to be $25 when it hits the shelves. You can get it for $20. Also, with the book, you'll get it signed because, quite honestly, my signature is probably going to be worth a lot of money in the coming years. So you might want to get it signed. And then also, we're going to throw in the gift, which is going to be stock market class for kids for your children or for your niece, your nephew, your godson, it doesn't matter. So you get access to that by pre-ordering today. So you want to go over to www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com to get your copy of the Black Billionaires Club. Now, of course, this is the Black Bookstore where we're actually bringing black authorship to the black community, making it easy for you to practice group economics. So we do have a couple other books that we want to make you aware of, and they still are surrounded around the same thing about money. Number one, we got Maximize Your Tax Refund. Maximize Your Tax Refund by Miss Yvette Best. This book here is 35 surefire ways to get more from your return now. Now, if you're like me and you just happen to be an entrepreneur where you're in the middle of the year and you're doing your tax returns, hopefully you're doing your quarterly or your mid-year returns, and you still need to know, I just believe that if you're in business, you need to have a tax book. And this is a great way for you to actually get that tax book. But then not only that, with this book, if you order it, you're going to get a free 60-minute session, a one-on-one session with the author who is an established tax accountant, and she's going to go through a tax strategy session for you. So you imagine you'll be able to get a 60-minute session with a tax accountant for $20. Not just the book, but you also get access to someone who can help you figure this whole tax thing out. In other words, help you to keep more of your money. You done made the money, but have you put yourself in a position to keep most of it? And that's why you need a tax strategist. That's why you need a tax accountant. Every business owner should have a CPA or a tax accountant. I mean, why would you not? But anyway, Yvette Best wrote the wonderful book, Maximize Your Tax Refund Now. You can get that at the ERGJ Black Bookstore for $20. Go ahead and order. We'll get that thing out to you ASAP Rocky. I also want to let you know about the other book where we started with our book club was Wealth is Mindset by Miss Shina Key. This book here shares a collection of relatable financial awareness topics along with tips and tricks to encourage you to think big, when it comes to getting big results while building your empire. Everybody put in the comments below, build my empire. This book here, $20 to support us and also anything you think about money so you can change results in your life. At the end of the day, guys, we need more financial literacy, more financial education in our houses, in our homes, and the public school system is not going to do it. You got to do it yourself. You got to decide that you're going to invest in yourself. You're going to invest in your family. You're going to invest in the knowledge that they don't teach you. And that's why we have great books like this to make available for you at the ERGJ Black Bookstore. Go over to the Facebook page, ERGJ Black Bookstore. Pick your book up today. We'll get that thing out to you ASAP, Rocky. Let's get right to what we need to talk about today from Dangote's 10 Commandments on Money, lessons from the richest black man in the world. Now, we're on to commandment number 9, and that commandment says to be on the lookout for needs to satisfy. Be on the lookout for needs to satisfy. So everybody put in the comments, go satisfy a need. Satisfy a need. See, if you can learn to satisfy a need with what you do, you can stay in business. So, for example, I am a distributor and I'm a shareholder of Tesha Water, which is a black-owned alkaline water company. Well, I understand that everybody drinks water. Drinking water is a need. And so we're satisfying a need, which tells me that we'll be in business for quite a long time. Okay? It's not a matter if they're going to drink water. It's just a matter if they're going to buy my water. Satisfy a need. And so we'll pick up, we'll go back a little bit. We'll try to pick up where we kind of left off at on, I guess that was Monday. And he says this on page 122 again from Dangote's 10 Commandments on Money. If you got the book and you're following up with it, this is not in the ERGJ bookstore just yet. I wish it was, but I definitely do need to make sure that I email them and see if we can get it in the bookstore. I am going to work on that. I promise you. Karina Books. Yes, I promise you. All right. Continue where we stopped. My teacher said that human needs are insatiable and an eternal truth. As long as there's life, there will always be needs. As long as there's life, there will always be needs. What's going on, Mr. Knowles, Miss Pat Moore, Miss Green? How are you? Got somebody else that's watching, it looks like. I'm not quite sure if they said hello, but good morning to you nonetheless. As long as there is life, there will always be needs. Man will never be satisfied. Satisfy this need, he will focus on another. And the fact is, once you're able to spot and satisfy a need in the society, you are made. Once you're able to spot and satisfy a need in society, you are made. But for you to be able to do this, you have to be a student of society. Everybody put in the comments below, student of society. In order for you to spot and to satisfy a need in the society, you must become a student of society. In other words, study people, okay? You should always be studying the society to know what people are thinking, doing, and where they want to go. You should also have it at the back of your mind that man, like any other animal, what's going on, Mr. Ken, Norfolk, how are you? Good morning. Seeks pleasure and shuns pain. He's attracted to pleasure the way pen is attracted to magnet. Therefore, if you're looking out for the needs to satisfy, your thought energy should be concentrated on those things that provide pleasure, those needs that would make life easier than what it is at present. Again, life is becoming more demanding than ever, and it will continue to be so. Everybody is becoming busy. There's now pressure of time on everybody. This, therefore, means that any product that man will have to spend a lot of time on will not be hot in the market because it will be working against his current busy tempo. That's why flour and noodles have taken over the conventional food that people eat. In the morning, instead of spending 1 hour cooking rice, you can spend just 5 minutes on noodles and go your way. The same thing is applicable to cassava or yam flour. Because of pressure, man now wants ways of doing more important but difficult things in easy or simple ways. And some great entrepreneurs are cashing in on this and smiling to the bank. Everybody put the comments below, smile to the bank. So that's what I want you to do, guys. I want you to learn how to be smiling to the bank because you're learning how to satisfy needs of the society. And those needs are typically will be around providing pleasure, providing convenience for your customers. Smiling to the bank. For instance, with the Nestle canned tea, you can have your tea anytime and anywhere, even in transit. It is the same wisdom that those who came up with the sachet and bottled water applied. The idea is for you to have access to clean water anytime and anywhere. You no longer have to wait before you get to your house before you can have access to clean water to quench your thirst. Good morning, Mr. King. How are you, brother? These are needs that people are discovering and filling. So you should be a good student of society. You should always keep your eyes open to know where the pendulum is about to swing. One of the attributes of a good entrepreneur is being proactive. Everybody put the console proactive. I don't know if I'm talking to entrepreneurs right now or not, but one of the attributes of a good entrepreneur is being proactive. So there obviously is a difference between being reactive, being the last to notice something, being on the back of the bus, versus being proactive where you're driving the bus. You see? Being proactive where you are driving the bus. You should always try to be the first to strike. You should always try to be the first or at worst among the first to get involved in a deal. You don't have to wait until a deal becomes a masses thing before you go in. Every deal is like that whale that has come out of the ocean to the bank. If you're the first to know, you move and begin to cut the choicest part. By the time it becomes public knowledge that a whale is at the bank of the ocean and everybody begins to come, you should be willing to lend your knife to whomever you wish and move on to something else. However, if there's a business that people are already doing and you want to go in, your going in must be to take the business to another level. Everybody comes, put in the comments below, another level. Now, as you think about whatever it is that you want to do or that you are doing, are you taking it to another level? Are you getting into that business or that industry and taking it to another level? Another level. Why am I saying this? Because it is not every business that you can start as number one. Some of you have to start as challenger and then work your way up to the top. But as I said earlier, one thing that you should always bear in mind is that man is a pleasure-seeking animal. He craves for pleasure and can give his all to have it. Therefore, you should always be asking yourself. Therefore, you should always be asking yourself. Therefore, you should always be asking yourself, how can I make this product or service more pleasurable? Everybody put that in the comments below. How can I make this more pleasurable? Number two, how can I make this product or service simpler? Write that down. How can I make it simpler? Number three, how can I make this product or service less complicated or less difficult? How can I make this less complicated? The richest man in the world, the richest black man in the world, has just said to his people, these are three questions that you should always be asking. How can I make this more pleasurable? How can I make this simpler? How can I make this less complicated? Once you're able to answer questions, provide answers to these questions, you're on your way to the top. Another important thing is that another important thing that in looking for the need to satisfy is not mandatory for you to reinvent the wheel. By which I mean trying to bring something new into existence. You can also look out for needs that are not satisfied despite the existence of operators trying to satisfy such needs. That got my mind racing. Another of the most staple food in Nigeria is bread, and in a mega city like Lagos, for instance, the demand for bread far outweighs the supply. The biggest producer of bread in Lagos is UTC, and it is not producing more than 100,000 loaves per day in a city of about 20 million people. Therefore, if a company that has the capacity to produce 1 million quality loaves per day comes up, there is a market for it. It, however, seems that a lot of people are not thinking along this line. Hear that? It, however, seems that a lot of people are not thinking along this line. There are a lot of people this morning that got up this morning. And as we see, we got about 6 or 7 people that are here on the Black Bookstore, Black Book Club. So you just imagine how many people woke up this morning that's not thinking along this line. They're not thinking about how to increase their revenue. They're not thinking about how to make more money. They're not thinking about how to be proactive. They're not thinking about along this line. You see, it is a small percentage of people who wake up day in and day out thinking about or thinking along this line. How can I make this more pleasurable? How can I make this simpler? How can I make this less complicated? And if those that answer those questions are on their way to the top. There are also some companies that were satisfying needs in the past, but because of one reason or another, they have gone under, and their products or services are still in high demand, my teacher said. The other time I mentioned Bata or Famad. Another area you may look at are the products or services that need improvement or to be taken to the next level. These are viable opportunities that one may consider instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. I personally believe in moving from the realm of the known to that of the unknown. If you look at the history of my business, all that I've been doing is looking out for existing needs in society and contributing my own quota towards satisfying them. When I went to the cement trading in the 1970s, there was a scarcity of the product, and I went in to fill the gap as much as I could. It was the same spirit that led me to the Banu Cement Company and the Obajana Cement. The population of the country is increasing in leaps and bounds, and housing is grossly inadequate. The relationship between the demand and supply of cement in Nigeria is like that between the North Pole and the South Pole. Therefore, something drastic must be done to bridge the gap. That's why somebody like me has to move in and act. Move in and act. He didn't say move in and think about it. He didn't say move in and plan, but don't move. He said move in and act. I've been in the business of acquiring potentially great but dead or underperforming companies and turning them around. I did that with a textile company. I saw a great opportunity in the textile market, and instead of going to start a new textile company from scratch, I had to go into an already known but poorly performing one. I rejected capital for its recapitalization and refurbishment. I injected capital for its recapitalization and refurbishment. Within a few years, the company was revitalized and began to make profit. It was producing from local consumption and even for export. The advantage of acquiring these dead companies and restructuring them in the name they made is the name they made while they were performing at optimal level. Brand names have a way of lingering on in the memory of consumers long after the companies have gone under. Once a brand is doing well, consumers would unconsciously file the brand away in their subconscious. Once consumers get used to a particular brand or product, they get stuck to it. They would get stuck to it, that even if the product is no longer there, they will be longing for it. It is like one newspaper in the country. The older generation will sit in their homes and ask for it. The content of the paper is not a matter of interest, just what they have gotten used to. The content of the paper is not a matter of interest. It's just what they have gotten used to. And actually, guys, that's really the end of chapter 9. And so we are going through the 10 Commandments on money by Mr. Dangote. Now, what I will do is do a quick recap on the other, 8 commandments, and then we'll pick up on commandment number 10 tomorrow. And so let's start here. We'll start with commandment number 1. Let's see if we can find it. So commandment number 1, as we do a quick recap, was number 1, go into business for which you have a passion. Go into business for something for which you have a passion. What are you passionate about? And go into business in that passion, right? Because it's passion that will drive you through the tough times, through the valleys of the business cycle. Instead of you going after it because of the money, and which causes you to quit if something happens, you keep going because you're passionate about what it is that you've decided to start. Second commandment, he said, was to start small. He said, journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. So start small, right? We all got big ideas. We got big, big dreams, but we have to take small, realistic steps in order to accomplish the big dream. So he said to start small. Don't fret humble beginnings, right? Start where you are. Start to make money there so you can get some quick wins in your life, some quick wins in your business, and you can grow from there. Number 3, he says, sell cheap, give quality, but don't kill the competition. And this, we learn that competition is good. Competition actually keeps you on your toes. Competition is where you have iron sharpening iron. So when you kill your competition, you typically become complacent because you're now at the top spot, but you don't have anyone competing with you at the top spot. And so competition is good. Number 4, he said hard work. Nothing can be achieved in business without hard work. Said idle chatter, a little sleeping of the hands, a little slumber, a little folding, a little more sleep, that all leads to poverty. But faith with works is alive and well. The question is, are you willing to put in the work for your dream? Number 5, he said adopt a catch me if you can business policy. What I thought about when I heard this was to think about where you want to be in the future and imagine your future self looking back at you saying, catch me if you can. I want you to think about your dream right now, your goal, your aspiration. Imagine your dream, your goal, your aspiration telling you right now to catch me if you can. See, the catch me if you can philosophy always has you charging yourself forward into greatness. Catch me if you can. Number 6, he said, be a law-abiding citizen and don't fight the government. And this we learned that instead of fighting the government, learn the government and use the government to your advantage. There are government contracts out there. There are laws that have been passed, but if you learn those laws, then you can manipulate those laws to actually be a benefit to you. So don't be law-abiding, don't fight the government. And number 7, he said, go into manufacturing. Go into manufacturing. Got a lot of people that design. We have a lot of people who can create, but we don't have a whole bunch of people that are manufacturing and making that product available to the masses through their manufacturing company. And he's saying at some point, people, we got to get into manufacturing so we can capture more of the profits and bring those profits back into our community. Number 8, he said, believe in Nigeria. And I sum this up as believe in your own people. Believe in black folk. Stop taking the narrative that your people don't know what they're doing. Your people are this or your people are that. Don't listen to anything about your people from outside of your people. Believe in your own is what I took away from that. And obviously we just went through number 9, which is always be on the lookout for needs to satisfy. What need does your business, does your concept, does your idea, what need does it solve? Well, guys, that's going to be it for us here this morning on the New Black Wall Street Book Club. I normally would ask, well, you know, what did you learn today? But it was a very short session today, so I won't do that. I know you're just getting back from vacation. You probably ate a whole bunch. You're just waking up ready to get your day started. But hey, let's have a plum pleasing time today here on this Wednesday, which is Black Woman Wednesday, by the way. I want to say thank you so much to all the black women that are out there. Thank you for being you. I want to let you know that you are loved and appreciated. We absolutely need you in our community. I want you to go out and continue to be phenomenal today, black woman. Well, guys, this is ERGJ, your certified financial educator, founder of the New Black Wall Street. Just going through the book, Dangote's 10 Commandments on Money. I also want to remind you that the Black Billionaires Club, the book on how they built their wealth, is going to be coming out on Monday. You want to get your pre-ordered copy so you can save a little money, you can show your support, and you can be ready to rock and roll when we release. Go to www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. Well, guys, I want you to remember this. That takes a village, and it starts with us. Let's build black wealth together. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday. Talk to you soon.
It's the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Wall Street with your host Evan Jefferson. It's time for us to go. Yeah. Now you ain't gotta leave the computer. But we encourage you to get out there and learn and apply all the things you learn at the New Black Wall Street Book Club. Yeah.